Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or hello and welcome for those of you who are new here. My name is Chloe Swift. I'm a professional hairstylist and hair care expert, and today I'm going to be bringing you another video all around the Dyson Airwrap with this time the conical barrel. So this conical barrel is wider at the base, more narrow on the end, so we should actually see a more defined curl this time. Now that I fully understand it a lot more better, I'm going to try again the ID curl feature, show you how that works now that I kind of know, I think I know at least, how to use it properly this time. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing you're going to want to do is just make sure you have got the My Dyson app installed. So there's my app on my phone, and then just make sure that your Airwrap is hooked up and it's kind of connected to your phone. So you do need to make sure your Airwrap is turned on when you do this. So I'm just going to turn it on. If you do need to hook it up, you need to push that up into the ID curl mode, and then your Bluetooth will recognize it. Mine's already connected though, so I'm already ready to go. This time I'm going to keep my settings exactly how they are. If you didn't watch my previous video when I used the ID curl, I will link it down below so you can watch that and have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, I was a bit flustered. I didn't really understand it. It was all over the place. But essentially what happens when you turn on your ID curl mode, it comes up with the suggested timings. So let me show you. You can see there we have, 7 seconds to wrap. Then it styles for 7 seconds. And then the cool shot pops on for 5 seconds. And then when it's finished, as you can tell, the power just like drops down. It stays in this mode, and then that waits for you to take your next section. When your next section's ready, then you pop it back up into the ID curl mode again. I got really flustered with it and I didn't understand, but I'm not going to change the settings now, because what I kept doing when I was talking to the camera, I kept switching down the power and I kept changing between the heat. I don't think you need to do anything, and I've tested it now on my hands. So the cool shot mode, it does automatically go into cool shot, but you just need to give it time to do that. And I felt like it wasn't doing it because it was still quite warm. It takes a while to get into the cool shot mode. I'm just going to leave everything on the highest heat and the highest speed, because that's where my settings have saved to, and I'm not going to touch anything else. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to run much more smoother this time. And I've already popped all of my products in my hair and prepped my hair, but I will just show you quickly what I used. So a leave-in conditioning heat protect spray. This is the Unite 7-second detangler. Really recommend for dehydrated dry hair types. Then I popped in the L'Oreal Technia Pli. It's such like a hairdresser favorite. It is such a lightweight styling product, and it just gives the hair just a little bit of hold when you're putting in shape into the hair, especially when you're blow drying it in. This is such a great product, so I've popped that one in next. Then I went in with a blow dry cream, Fenty Hair. This is the protective type 5-in-1 heat protective styler. So again, it's got heat protection in there, but because it's a cream, just really helps to nourish and smooth and moisturize, and yeah, help control my frizz. It actually protects from heat up to 232 degrees. And then lastly, we never skip the oiling step, so I popped in the oil. This is the Unite U oil, and this is an argan oil, so a little bit richer, a little bit thicker, so ideal for, again, dry, dehydrated hair types, or if your hair is thicker or coarser. My hair is medium density, so yeah, I'd say medium to thicker, coarser hair. You're gonna love this oil. And also what I want to do before we go in with our conical curling wand, because my hair is still quite damp, like especially, it might not look it, but at the roots there, it's still too wet to go in. So we need to take out some moisture. So I'm going to this time take out some moisture with the smoothing brush attachment. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I do have obviously wavy hair. As you can tell, it does go frizzy and fluffy. So at the same time as taking out some moisture out of my hair, just give it a better base and do a little bit of smoothing out before we go in with our curling wand as well, because that's the one thing I have noticed with the Airwrap, and I know when I've read a lot of my comments, a lot of you guys struggle with that as well. When you do have wavy or curly or just frizz prone hair, when you just go straight in with the wands, you get that like puffiness and it doesn't quite smooth out the root, and then it just kind of expands as the day goes on. What we're going to do is just smooth out the hair a little bit beforehand. So when you have got on the smoothing brush head attachment, kind of just ignore the app and ignore ID curl feature. That's got nothing to do with this brush head, for example. So let's go in and smooth and do a bit of pre-drying. And you can see I'm not going to section my hair or anything. I'm just kind of starting off underneath, pull the hair quite taut at the roots, and really kind of just try and iron out the kink at the root. Yeah, I definitely think that's a good amount of excess water taken out of my hair. It almost looks dry, but it's definitely, you know, when you can just feel it's still damp. So I'd say we're at like, it's like 15% damp. It's pretty much dry. But I think that's the perfect level of dampness that you want in your hair before you go in with one of the curling ones. Next, we're going in and sectioning our hair. So taking a section level with the top of the ears, and then that's going to be our thickness level of our first section. Twist this up into a little bun, clip it out of the way, and I'm using my Dyson section clips, which are just so good. Bring that round to the front. So these are going to be your first 2 sections. So one on this side, one on this side. Let's switch the heads now. So just unlock that, taking off my smoothing hair. Just attaching the Conical curling wand. Just making sure I'm on high heat, high speed. Something I have been loving doing lately is spraying each section with a heat protective hairspray. I do actually normally use the Living Proof Flex hairspray. I love that hairspray so much. I've just run out. I have been using the Hair by Sun McKnight Modern hairspray. This does pretty much the same thing. It's a heat protective hairspray. So spray your hair each section with the heat protective hairspray before you go in and use your Airwrap. Hopefully you can see my phone over here, so it's all ready to go. So when I slide up my ID curl mode, that then should just already start the timer. This time what I'm gonna do, because I kept looking back at my phone now, I literally can't see it behind me at the moment, but yeah, I'm not gonna keep looking back at it, and I'm just gonna let the Airwrap do its thing, which is what I guess you are supposed to do. Let it do its thing, and then you know that it's done and you can remove it because the power drops down. And one tip I will say, this is what I didn't do last time, because there's actually different ways or just positions where you can lock this into place, but try and lock it into place where the arrows are pointing towards your mirror and pointing towards the front, because this massively helps them knowing which direction your curl's going in. So you can see here, yeah, that little arrow is on top of the curl pointing that way, so my curl is going that way. Whereas if I move the arrow that way, then you know the curl is gonna go that way. So it really helps just having these pointing towards your mirror, which I didn't have last time. I would say it does feel very hot, the hot mode. We know the tool doesn't actually exceed 150 degrees Celsius, so it isn't too hot for damp hair. Yeah, I guess you just need to trust the Airwrap and let it do its thing. So misting the heat protective hairspray on beforehand. I need to keep it somewhere within reach. I need to keep it down there because my top tip is spraying the hairspray when it's in the cool shot mode. But do you know what, I am just going to move my phone because I don't think really you can see it there anyway. If you haven't watched my previous video on the Dyson Airwrap, how cool is this? So I do actually love the fact that the lid of the box that the Airwrap comes in, it then acts as a phone stand. So I do really love that. And then it's like I've put my wide tooth comb on there, so I can kind of queue up all your products that you want on your lid, which I think is just a really nice feature. Hair is already misted with hairspray. We're going in with our ID mode. So sliding up the ID mode. Let's go. So the wrap, that's in. Now we're on the styling mode. The styling mode is set for 7 seconds. And then we're in cool shot mode. So cool shot mode, then mist on a little bit more of your hairspray. And now the power's dropped down. This is when you know it's ready and it's time to take out and look at that curl. It's so bouncy. Oh my god. Okay, that really worked that time. I mean, look at that difference. That one I didn't hairspray during the cool shot, and obviously that one I did. And I think it definitely helps that I can see my phone now. But as you can hear, the Airwrap is still on in the ID curl mode, so I don't turn it on and off between this. Grab your next 2 sections. I'm just taking really nice big chunky sections, so I'm just going to take all of that in one, then I'm going to bring all of that round again. Not going to overcomplicate the direction of these curls away from the face on the sides. Do the top slightly differently to get the volume in, but for the sides I just want everything away from the face. So yeah, just making sure that arrow is again pointing to that way. cool shots on, so I'm going to give it a spray. And then the power's turned down, so we can pop it out. So bouncy. Look at my bouncy little sausages. Next section, working up from the recession point. I am actually going to split that into 2 different sections here. Remember to change the direction of the curl back. So I want to make sure it's going that way. Yeah, it's quite thick at the root here, so I do want to make sure the root is drying, so it's still quite a bit damp there. Let me turn this off a second. With my previous video, I had so many comments that were like, you're wrapping it wrong, it needs to be from the bottom and to the top. I was intentionally wanting to wrap from the top down to the bottom, so hear me out. So as a hairstylist, you would always wrap top down to the bottom for multiple reasons. Obviously, you can see how much thicker the root is compared to the end. This needs a lot longer on the heat, A, because it's a lot more damp at the roots, B, there's just more hair, is thicker, it needs longer time on the heat. Don't want to be leaving the very thin ends on the heat for the maximum amount of time. It just makes no sense. Yeah, I always try and wrap root down to ends. That's how everyone should be wrapping when you're heat styling. It gets more root lift as well at the roots. There's just so many reasons why you would do that, but I do completely understand that the Airwrap isn't designed to be wrapped this way. I would love it if you could pop it back here and it's powerful enough that it can wrap the roots first, but it just isn't like that. I guess like the ends are so much more lightweight. Wrap the ends first of all and then you work it up. I know it obviously won't wrap here. I am letting it suck the hair in this time, but I am trying to wrap it at least halfway and encourage it so I can just get up to the root sooner. And again, the sooner that you get up to the root and start drying that, you're gonna minimize frizz. That's where everyone gets their frizz and fluffiness, is that thicker part at the root there. I hope that helps to clear that up. But anyway, turn it back on, let's go again. Okay, right. 7 seconds to wrap, and actually I think that's perfect now. So now we're in styling for 7 seconds. Now it's already gone into cool shot. Some more hairspray there. Power down, we can remove that. Woo! Look at that. And I do just like to run my fingers through that section first of all as well, just to make sure it's like detangled. Okay, 7 seconds to wrap. Work that up. To be honest, I could even lower that now. I'm not going to. I don't want to be flustered again. And then cold shot. And yeah, I could even, if I wanted to, extend the cold shot, you know. It says 5 seconds with the cold shot, but it definitely takes like 2 to 3 seconds to even get colder. I'm sticking to what I said at the beginning. I'm not going to alter the timings. I'm not going to overcomplicate anything. Let's just stick with it. Make sure we are changing that curl again. So we want these going that way. If you watch my videos, you know I like to swap hands anyway. But I am also finding even just swapping hands using this helps. So like always holding the tool in the opposite hand to the side you're styling. But you definitely do get tighter, more defined curls when using the conical barrel compared to the large 32mm one. That gets a slightly looser look. Now moving on to the top, onto this like horseshoe section that we've got. So everything on the top, I want to work horizontally backwards, and that's going to give us the most amount of root lift. And then just making sure our curling iron is the right way. If I hold it like that, the arrow is pointing back, which is great because I want the curls to go backwards. So hairspray again, and ready for the ID curl. Let's go. Styling. Now cool shot. Look at that, it's literally stayed in a perfect little roll on the top of my head. To be fair, you know, I was just going to shake that up, but actually let's leave it there. If we can leave that there, that's literally like the same as pin curl in the hair. Let's leave it there so it sets in that nice voluminous rounded shape. I've got this much left. To be honest, I could go in and do all of that in one. Let me do it in one because I feel like most of you guys would just tackle that in one. If we were to split it into 2, you'll just get a more defined shape, probably more root lift because you're working in thinner sections. But I feel like these 2 were about that same width. And there we go, hair is all done. What we can do, I am going to turn this off now. Whilst these are just still sat on top of your head, and say you wanted to like finish your makeup, get changed or whatever, you could just add a little clip into those whilst they're still kind of further setting. But yeah, I'm literally just gonna leave them like that. I'm not gonna do anything crazy and like move around. So yeah, they're kind of just staying there, to be honest. The hair is cool because obviously we have set it with the Cool Shop. Just for safety reasons with these last ones, let me just wait like 5 minutes before we dress out. Probably know what's coming next. To dress out, I'm going to go in with a tiny little smidge of oil in my hands, massaging it in almost like a hand cream, and that just stops it from being in one area on your palms, and then it'll go like straight in just that one area on the hair. We are going to literally just rake our hands through the curls. This breaks up the curls, and also it will break through that cast of hairspray because we have got quite a lot of hairspray on. However, that's what I will say about this hairspray, and especially the Living Proof one that I love using. They're not like sticky, heavy hairspray. So there might be a bit of like a slight crispy cast because we've just put a lot on. But yeah, this instantly like breaks through that. Oh my God, look at these ones at the top that I did. I am loving this so far. If you are a fan of that kind of Matilda Jerf hair, you are going to love this. You see I have just got a little tangle there with the hairsprays. Breaking up with your fingers, a little bit of the oil. And yeah, once you've raked your fingers through all of the hair, look how well that is holding as well after I've done that. You just want to find where you want it to sit, basically. If I have blow dried my hair backwards to create that root lift, I mean, I'm definitely going to go for a side parting. I think that sits quite well, but then I will also like swoosh it over and just check if maybe I prefer that other side, just check where it wants to sit better. Top tip that I will also do, if you are going for a real deep side parting, make sure it's on a diagonal and instead of just going straight back, because then you'll just end up with like hardly any hair there, and you still want it to look like nice and thick and full there. I think I'm liking it on that side. Okay, now I've changed my mind. I think it looks better that way. I feel like if I do put a side parting in, maybe I do put it in this side. Yeah, I'm liking that way. That is holding and staying, and hopefully you can tell also it is definitely not crispy with hairspray. Just gonna go in literally the exact same hairspray. So the good thing is with this hairspray, it just doubles up as just a standard hairspray, so you can go in and just finish the hair also with it. So I do just like to pick up this top section with all my root lift and just spray that so that stays, and any other little pieces that you feel like need an extra little bit of hold, you can like pinch the hairspray, spray some hairspray there. I am honestly in love with this result. I hope you guys love it too. I'm so pleased I gave the ID curl feature another go. As you can see, just with me, I'm a hairstylist. It took me a few goes, a few trials and errors, time and patience with it. Let it do its thing. It takes a while for the Cool Shot mode to kick in. I hope you really enjoyed my tips with using like a heat protective hairspray, and I hope you love the look just as much as I do. And I really hope you guys have a go at recreating it. But yeah, as always, I would love it if you could give this video a big thumbs up if you did learn anything new from it or just really enjoyed it. And if you could subscribe, I would absolutely love that as well, and join our little hair community because I post weekly. And if you do, I'll be seeing you next week for lots more hair tutorials and hair care tips. Bye guys.